Hey guys, welcome back to Bonsai Crazy. How you doing? Now, you may remember that earlier in the year I did my first ever root over rock, which I called root over waterfall or root waterfall, because the roots are going to be coming cascading down the rock face. Now, to make that, I had to obviously put the rocks together and make sure that they were solid and weren't going to fall off. So I thought I'd make a video on that today, because it may be well known and it may not be, but it's actually quite easy to cement or to put rocks together and for them to hold. All you need is aquascape. Now, aquascape is for gluing rocks. Basically, it's like a putty, and you glue rocks together and you put it in the fish tank, so it's even waterproof. So it will sit in water and it will, it won't decay at all. So it's perfect for gluing rocks together. So first off, when you're making your rock piece, what you got to do is you've got to visualize how it's going to sit in the pot, where it's going to sit in the pot, how the tree's going to sit, how you want the roots to go, etc, etc. Now, when I look at this, I see it on a mound of soil. I don't actually see it on its own. I see it as a mountain. So I see the pot lower down and then piled up with soil and sitting high up, this rock sitting high up, and then the roots of the tree trailing down the side of this rock and coming into the soil level just underneath here. And then the tree sitting up, it's actually going to be a double trunk or a triple trunk. What have I got? Orange Dream I've got for it. So it will sit up here and it will come out and splay out like this. So it's very important to visualize what you're going to do with your rock and what you're going to do with your tree. That being said, it's also very important that the rocks kind of have their own gravity and they will sit on each other nicely without falling over or rocking or wanting to fall over, because obviously you're not gonna get the bond with the aquascape if the rock just wants to fall over. You're gonna have to prop it up and it may not hold, etc, etc. So it's best to find your structure first, and then you go ahead and you will mix that in. It takes about 5 minutes to mix that in. I'll do that in a minute, and then I'll put on the first rock. Okay, then we're going to wait for that rock to dry, then we're going to put on the second rock the next day. So it's quite a long process, this one, but the effects you can get from gluing the rocks together are much better than, I think, are much better than just making a root over rock, just sticking a rock in the ground and making a root over rock that way, because you're missing out on the rest of the tree. You could actually have rocks next to the tree and really make it a feature, So I'm going to get on and show you. I'm just going to quickly make the putty up, and then I'll glue the first rock and we'll go from there. So right guys, when you're using your aquascape putty, it's very important to make sure that you get both of the right size pieces, both identical size pieces, and then you will just literally squeeze it all together and squeeze and squeeze and squeeze and squeeze, and you've got to do this for literally about 5 minutes. Number one, this warms it up. It makes the putty warm, and it obviously blends the setting part of the putty to the dry or the soft part of the putty, or whatever you want to call it. It bonds and reacts. Now obviously you need that to be touching all of the putty, so you've got to really have got to do it for a good 5 minutes, just rolling this stuff around, making sure that it's all stuck together. Now I've probably not got the right size piece here. I probably need a little bit more, but I'm hoping we should get away with this on this first little lower rock here. So good 5 minutes, so I'll get back to you in a second. So right guys, it's been a good 5 minutes and I'm now ready to set the first rock. So obviously you want to keep the image the way you want it, so you've got to be very careful to make sure it goes back in the same place. You don't want to be disappointed by just a little fraction or so of oh, it would have looked better that way or whatever. So you've got to make sure that it goes back in the same place. Also, I use just a tiny little bit of water just to wet the rock so that the putty sticks a tiny bit better. You don't have to use it at all, but I find it helps just a little bit, and not too much either, because otherwise the water, you know, it creates a barrier between the rock and the thing. It just needs to be a tiny bit damp. Right, so I'm just going to take that off there, and you can see the points. You can see the points that it was sitting on. You know, this piece here is sitting on this piece here, it's sitting on this piece here, and that piece there. So I've got definitely got 3 points of contact there. So 1, 2, which are pretty close together, and this one here on this corner. So I'm going to start on this corner because I know under there I can figure that one out. So I'm going to start on this corner here. I'm just going to put some putty there, a little bit of water, put some putty on there like that, and then squidge it in, kind of push it down so there's a little lump. There's a lump of putty there now. I'm going to do the same on here. I'm going to roughly put it back where it was. I know that's going to be there on that corner. So I'm just going to put that there on the corner. Like I say, you can use water, you don't have to use water. It's entirely up to you. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But, you know, just make sure you can get that in there like that. And really squidge it into the rock. Like so. And that gives it a bond to the rock then. And then when I turn that over and put that on top, we know it's going to connect. And we know it's going to be a strong bond. So that's like that. And then we had this piece here, wasn't it? So we got this lump here, which is, and then I guess that lump would translate to over here as well. So there's another lumpy piece here. So 2 lumps, and that's where I'm going to put my putty. All right, so I'll do it on this piece here first. A little bit of water. And then bang. Now obviously I'm being very tight with this putty, but you don't have to be so tight. You can use as much as you want. Just know it's going to cost you. I think a tin of this putty, which I'm lucky to get grey, is £5. But if you want white, well, if you want white, it's going to cost you a lot of money. So there's 2 there, and we're going to figure out where it's going to go again. So there, and there. All right, so you can see that. So that one's there, and that one's there. So there, finger on that, push that down. And the other one was there, around that mark. Right, so now it's time to put it together. So one is slightly not in the right spot, so I'm just going to move it over to where it should be, there. And that's what you got to check. You got to double check that and make sure you are in the right spot. There we go, we've got two there. Bang, bang, and bang. All right, so now I can just squash it in, and then you'll see, look, there's like a little bulge there now. So we can just wrap that up, pull it up so it blends in, put it down so it blends in. Use a little bit of water, that will help you smooth it. So that's that one on there. And then come around, we've got the front here, so we'll go up, and that will blend into the rock as well. A little bit of water again, help you. Blend that into the rock there. And then same there. And if you can't get in there with your finger, just use a stick or a chopstick, or whatever you've got to handy. And that you can get in there and blend that down. Actually, I can get my finger in there, which is all right. So, and obviously you can just put some moss around there, or I'll probably end up putting some moss in there. But right, so now we're going to find the second position of this second rock, making sure it goes back where we want it, and that's where it was. Nice and rustic like that, like it's just literally fallen into place. Hope you can see what I mean by just the slightest bit of movement that you get on it will make the scene completely different. And I think that's where I want to go with it, because I want that to kind of be at an angle, that to be at an angle, and that to be at an angle. So that's where we need to position the next one. So I'm just going to get some more putty and we'll do that. So right guys, ready for the next bit now. Now obviously when you turn this over, I'm going to keep that right there so I know that point. We've got lots of little points of contact. So what I'm going to do is put a lot of putty on these points of contact and not on the rock that's laying down, because I know the points of contact are more important. So one point of contact, big lump there, 2 points of contact, big lump there, and 3 points of contact, big lump there, right? So we're gonna squash them in as we did before. And we really do want all this major contact on this one, because as you can see there's like pits and stuff. When you squash that in, it's gonna pit down and go right into the hole, and then you'll lose all your putty, and you don't really want that. So make sure you've got it all right. And that's going to be a solid foundation for you to put it on. Right, so find your angle again, and that was my angle. I'm just going to squish it down. Proper squish it in. Now on most pieces, a little bit of water, don't forget. On most pieces, you're not going to be able to do it. Not going to be able to do them both at the same time, because it's just not going to work for you, and it will fall over and etc, etc. So I'm very lucky to be able to put these three together like this in one go. So now I'm going to go round and I'm going to make sure that this second rock is completely in place and not going to come tumbling down. And I think that's pretty solid. But you can see a little crack, little opening there. So I'm going to get some more putty, and I'm going to put some more putty in that. Right, so as you can see in there, was a little crack just in there, just there. So I've got another piece of putty, and squish that in, right in there. And there we go, that's going to hold. So there we go, guys. That's just a quick short video on how I made my rock waterfall and glued my rocks together. Now, I hope you like what I've done there. What I actually see is, you know, this sitting up high on a mound of soil, and then a mound of soil down the side here, cascading down into the pot. Half of the roots sitting here, and then half of the roots spraying over the front of the rock, all open, and then the soil level, and then going into the soil level underneath. So it's kind of a half root over rock, with the tree coming up next to this rock here, coming over the top of the canopy and making a canopy. Now I'm going to be using my orange stream, like I said, and hopefully it'll either be a triple trunk or a double trunk. So yeah, this is one for the future, and I'll give you a quick update tomorrow when it's all actually glued together, and I'll show you that, you know, you can pick the piece up and not have to worry about it too much, because it's grip solid. So yeah, there's my little video for today. Please like and subscribe, follow this concept and this hopefully going to be half root over rock, mountain, so to speak. So yeah, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Cheers guys. Ta-da.